Hello, my name is Scott Kowalski. I'm an artist living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm here to answer a few questions about myself and my artwork. So the first question is, what materials do you use and why? I'm primarily paint acrylic on canvas. I actually make all of my canvases, or most of my canvases. I use 2x2s and I stretch my own canvas, and it's really satisfying for me as a process. I love seeing going from the raw materials of uncut wood and unstretched canvas to a frame and stretch canvas. It's become an important part of the process, and I also love to be able to make whatever size of painting I want. So it's pretty cool going that way, and I don't have to worry about being constrained by those type of things. The next question is, what is my artwork about? My artwork is, I don't know, the subject matter varies. I don't really have a primary subject matter because most of my work is very abstract. I can do, I enjoy painting flowers or flowerish type stuff like this. And I also like to do chaotic kind of things like this. So there's I have a duality about myself. So it's very minimalist, simplistic, very chaotic, and kind of crazy. And you're never wrong when you look at my work, because there is no right or wrong when it comes to what you're perceiving as what it is. So my studio routine. I don't really have too much of a studio routine. I am lucky. I have a very flexible schedule. So I could wake up in the morning, I could throw some paint down. I'm also a graphic designer and a web developer, so I work on that for a couple hours. So pretty much my work day, my studio day runs from about 8 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter, because it's I can work on graphic design at 6 and I could paint at 10 or vice versa, or 10 in the morning. So I don't have a routine. I'd say the closest to the routine would be I listen to music primarily, 100% of the time when I'm painting. That's a routine. Other than that, I don't really have one. Size of art that you like to work with: 4 foot by 4 foot and larger. If I had my choice every time, it would be large canvas. I love the fact that you can get physical with your canvas and do big swatches. You can pick little areas and do really detailed stuff. And just the smaller paintings just don't convey some of that, and they're not as dramatic either. And so I would really enjoy working at that level all of the time. There's physical constraints. I can't store all of them. My walls are already covered, that kind of stuff. So what am I currently working on? I'm currently working on, there's a few pieces, I put a few pieces up. These bottom two and that one up in their corner are pieces that I'm working on. Also, this blue one over here, it's called a Bluebird Day. It's going to be framed in white. If you're a snowboarder or a skier, you understand what that means. And then this piece here, I'm working on. This is actually a completed piece. This is one of my newer pieces. So as you can see, the subject matter is all over the place, and it's not really defined. It's just what I'm feeling at the time, which is why I love abstract art, because I don't pigeonhole myself into a specific thing. I do series, but I don't necessarily do the same thing or the same subject matter all the time. Artists that inspire me: Bob Ross. Surprisingly, Bob Ross. And actually not surprisingly, he's an amazing human being. He was an amazing human being. I didn't necessarily his work was beautiful, his style was his style, but his attitude and his philosophy on what art was and who you are as a person, and those happy trees are so important, because it doesn't matter what other people think as long as you are smiling when you're painting those happy trees. Instagram is another huge influence. And not the app itself, but the amount of people that I can enjoy their work on a daily basis and be inspired by. I can be inspired by somebody in Pakistan. I can be inspired by somebody in South America and Chile. And I can be inspired by somebody in a tiny little town in Wisconsin that I never would have been able to see at all if it wasn't for this technology. And I think looking back in history, looking back is really going to acknowledge that as some form of influence or you know, I'm not sure. But so I really like Instagram is one of my biggest, because I have thousands of artists, you know, so it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tool. So like I mentioned, I'm a graphic designer and a web developer also. So, you know, on a given day, one workload might be light, another one might be heavy. I might have a commission that I might need to do as far as a painting. I might have a website to develop. I might have a logo to design. And I love it. It's such a great way to go about a day. It gives me flexibility. It gives me a different focus that I personally need mentally. So it's such a good way to go about my day, and it's sometimes it's hard because it's like I could spend 10 hours working on a website and not feel like painting that night. So it's tough some days, but it's really not. So art exhibits. The coronavirus has kind of screwed those up so far this year. I was supposed to have one on May 3rd. I don't think that that's happening. If Pennsylvania opens up restaurants and things like that, I will have a show in Lawrenceville. And if not, then it might not happen. I also have one in Zelienople at Berger in July, which I hope that happens. We'll see what the powers that be decide as far as the coronavirus is concerned. You can always find me I'm Blurred in Pittsburgh. It's a gallery crawl every first Friday. In the summertime, I like to table and bring some of my smaller pieces or show at one of the galleries. So, all right. I hope everybody's well. Stay safe and thanks for hanging out.